Hey, welcome back. This is your boy, Cross, the Christian Cyclist, aka Cross, and I am here with another episode of All Things Fitness, and I got a good friend of mine, Fabio. How you doing, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be here, man. I'm so glad to participate.
Yeah, man, it is a pleasure to have you on. We gon' really, and I'm not gonna waste any time. Because we got a lot to talk about. We're going to bless the people because today's subject is better late than never. Now, for the record, I did not come up with that title. Fabio came up with that title, and I thought it was just appropriate because, oftentimes we have a ton of excuses of why we don't move forward. And this is not just, we're talking about cycling today, but really this is a subject that goes on all subjects of life, right? It's never late. It's never too late. If you got breath in your body and you're able to move, then there's still time. You're still above ground. There's still time, right? No matter what your condition is, there's still time, right? So, but today we're going to talk about cycling. We're going to preface this conversation around cycling. And just to give you a little history here, Fabio is an absolutely phenomenal cyclist. And, everyone that I've brought on this show so far has really have had an incredible story, and I think yours is just the same. When you line up on that line with other cyclists, you only see, if they're great cyclists or good cyclists or average cyclists, but you don't really know them. You don't know what it took for them to become what they are. You know what I mean? Like, the backstories are phenomenal when you look into a person's life and realize the things they deal with and go, oh my goodness, like, wow, you overcame that and you're this phenomenal athlete. So let's get into your story. Let's talk about how long have you been cycling?
So heavily, I would say since the pandemic started. Before I used to bike with my kids. Yes, 2020, when the lockdown started. We're going to get to that point, but growing up in Brazil, I had a bike, of course, like every other kid, but not cycling. I mean, you ride your bike. Okay. And I stopped doing that when I got married in 2001. Then I started working more. So then I haven't been on a bike since then. We'll go around the block with the kids and that's pretty much it. So when the pandemic started, a friend of mine, he called me actually 5 or 7 times for rides of 5 miles, which was too long back in the day for us.
Wait, let's time stamp this. What year was this?
This is when the lockdown started. I think it was April, March 2020?
So April, wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding this. April, March of 2020, you could barely ride 5 miles.
Yes, and I didn't have a bike. I rode with my wife's bike, so just he would shut up and not invite me anymore. I said, "I'll go with you guys, but then you don't call me anymore." And that's when everything started. As you know, I am a real estate agent, and I know pretty well my way around our Chicagoland area by car. And I tell everybody, life goes too fast when you are in the car. You know your landscape, you know your areas in the car. You don't know what is behind the trees, what are behind the bushes. You don't know the trails. You don't know anything. And I don't run. I was not a sport guy. I don't do triathlons. I don't do, pretty much anything, or I was not doing anything. When I went on this ride with them, it was only 4 of us, and I saw, amazing trails here in Naperville. And I said, man, we got to do this more. But I had the wrong bike.
What kind of bike did you have? Oh, you had your wife's bike. So
she has a Schwinn. It was a Schwinn mountain bike, 29 inches heavy with a basket and everything on it.
Okay. All right. So we timestamped 2021, right before the pandemic, right before the shut-in. You're riding a Schwinn with a basket. Heavy mountain bike, barely able to ride 5 miles. You know this is, as this story progressed, I'm more embarrassed every time you open your mouth. You literally just started riding. I mean, that's incredible. Okay, let's keep going. So what happened next?
So then next, I told them, I said, okay, next week, they said, we're going to do 10. I said, okay, I'm in for 10. And it was all wrong, Cross. One guy had a triathlon bike on a gravel road we were riding. I was with my wife's bike. The other two guys, they had decent mountain bikes. And I said, I got to find a bike. And as you know, when the pandemic started, there were no bikes.
Right.
I was able to find one in Geneva, so I bought a mountain bike. In Brazil, I never had a road bike in my life. That, my little Fuji that you see, is my very first ever road bike I ever had. I never liked them because in Brazil is not the culture. We don't ride on the roads. Over there is we have a lot of country roads, a lot of hills and up and down. So mountain bike. I found a mountain bike. Okay. So then we spent 2020 was pretty much mountain bike, and then more guys start to join. And we got to a point with like more than 25 guys. And then we were doing like the Fox River Trails all the way to St. Charles. Back in the day, there were more guys riding road bikes with us. So we had a mix of the road bikes and the mountain bikers. And I will never forget this day. We went from Naperville to St. Charles. We're talking about like more than 30 miles already, but it took like 4 or 5 hours. We were in a slow pace. And we went up to St. Charles, and on our way back, one of our friends got lost. And I went back to search for him.
Okay.
With another two guys, with Rafael. Rafael was there. You know Rafael.
Uh-huh.
And another guy, he's a black belt jiu-jitsu master. Both of them on road bikes, and little Fabio on his mountain bike. We never found the guy because his wife picked him up. And then I had to come on my way back following two road bikers. Back in the day, I didn't know anything about nutrition. We were riding on raw water.
Oh, wow.
No gels, no nothing. And my sugar levels went down to the floor. I remember I saw Tinkerbell. I saw some unicorns flying around. So then Rafael gave me a little goo that I never thought was that. And then Jefferson gave me his bottle. And I got back to the starting point. And the guys told me I was pale. I couldn't talk. Wow. And then they gave me some Gatorade. And then when the sugar levels came back, I ate something. I told them, I said, this is it. I will never go with you guys again on the mountain bike. And then I went back to the same place, and I found that Fuji.
Okay.
And then we start getting faster. So the thing is, the Brazilian guys, they complained. They said, you were in a group D with your wife's bike, and then you move up to the C with your mountain bike. And then out of Sunday, you move to the group A with your road bike. And then at this point, the distances were getting longer and longer. And for me, I was knowing we went to Plano, we went to St. Charles, we went to so many places in a bike. I went from Naperville to Chicago on a bike. Wow. And I saw parks and trails I've never seen in my life. I said, that's awesome. And on a road bike, you go all the way through the back roads. And the thing is, we were getting faster. And one day I said, man, I got to ride faster. So I met a guy. He told me, it doesn't matter what you do, Fabio. You are only going to be the average of the people that you ride with. I said, I got to find a faster average for me. So then I found the guys from the Naperville Bike Club. They do a blur ride. I got dropped like in 2 miles. I got dropped, and I barely survived their ride. And then I found the Wolfpack ride. And then I was just looking for different crazy guys to ride with. And on my first year, I lost 20 pounds.
Okay.
I was not like a heavy guy, but I was like very lazy, not doing anything.
Okay.
And so I lost 20 pounds, and then I met Zwift in the winter, and Zwift got really bored when you are there for so long.
Oh yeah.
But I found out that riding fast, and then I started getting the passion of faster, and I I got registered with the USA Cycling. Then I have not done a crit racing yet. My plan next year is to do that.
Oh, okay.
Then I met you, and I mean, the thing is, up to this day, I tell everybody, I say, when I stop for any ride that by the way, I mean, I'm not the fastest guy here in our area. My goal now is never to be dropped. That's the goal when I drive with these really, really fast guys.
Uh-huh.
But just hearing the noise of their hubs makes my heart rate goes up. Because when they're unloading their bikes, you just hear the noise and say, man, this guy is really fast. I'm going to get killed today. Oh, man, that kid is 19 years old. I'm going to get killed today. So I'm 42. Okay. I started doing this with 40.
Okay.
And,
so hold on. All right, so let's recap something. You're 42 years old. You started when the pandemic, which you was around
2020.
40. All right, 2020. How much cycling were you able to do when we were shut in? I mean, for the most part, like the cycling community, we didn't cycle as much. I mean, we did some cycling, right? But we didn't cycle as much. So you didn't even really have the benefit of a full throttle cycling season unless you did all your cycling indoors. So how many miles would you say you cycled? Let's put it this way. How many miles would you say you cycled in those 2 years, like total?
No, the first 2 years was I think I did in maybe 1,000 miles first year.
First year, 1,000 miles of cycling.
Yeah, and then second year was maybe 1,500. This year, actually, I was measuring my Strava. Right now, we are in August, and I am higher than my entire last year.
Okay. So you somewhere around 2,000. Or maybe.
Yeah, so I remember we used to ride Saturdays only, and it was about an average of 35, 40 miles every Saturday.
Okay.
Then I decided, I said, I got to do this during the weekdays because you do Saturday, you kill yourself, and then you have the whole week eating and doing nothing, and then you do Saturday again. My wife said, this is a recipe for a heart attack, Fabio. You got to do something during the week. So I started working during the week too. So,
all right. I'm trying to wrap my head around. I've ridden with you, okay? I get it. You're not the fastest rider in your area, but you are an extremely fast rider, and you don't even have 5,000 miles on you, which tells me that you have a natural, and you probably didn't know this at the time. You didn't know that you were naturally gifted at this particular sport. Like you are built for cycling, and you just didn't know it. Maybe coming up and where you didn't have a true measurement of your ability to cycle, because in Brazil, like you said, you were doing a lot of mountain biking, and you guys, you know, the hills, the country roads, and you probably developed a serious core or your inner strength, and probably was a strong cyclist, but just didn't have the right equipment to really measure yourself to say, am I really a good cyclist? So here you come to the U.S., you ride your wife's bike for a little while, and in less than 3 years, you get a road bike, and you jump from the D team, the D group, to the A group, and leading the A group. And I mean, on my dash rides, I mean, there's maybe one other cyclist there for us that I would say by far, depending on the day, you and him can go back and forth. But I mean, that's incredible, man. That's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'm really glad of the result. The thing I feel really glad is to feel like how you get. I remember riding 14 miles an hour was a struggle. And then that became a speed of you can have a nice conversation, and that jumped to 18, and that jumped to 21. So, and you were still feeling good, but I mean, you were trying to wrap your mind around. Imagine me, I didn't know anything about cadence, power, watts, I mean, all the equipment and the GPS and the heart rate monitor, and I said, man, really, we gotta use all these things for cycling. And you have to understand, because you sit down with them, they said, "Oh, I am pulling at 380 watts." I said, "What does that mean?" I mean, it's insane the amount of things you need to learn. It's not complicated. I mean, when you know. My background before was IT, and in IT we say information gives you power to make a decision.
Right.
So when I start learning where I am, like how is my maximum heart rate, how many watts can I sustain for a certain minute, and then I learn about FTP, and then you learn about threshold, you learn about all those things, and so you don't make stupid decisions, because you can be very strong. Now, knowing me more now on the road, I know how long I can pull with high watts, but not enough to kill myself. And I have another friend, he used to tell me, he said, "Fabio, if you are tired, remember, everybody's tired." The only thing that will make them drop is who's going to hang more.
That's right.
And gonna drop first.
That's right.
That's the recipe you need to find with these people, because when you start riding with all these, I mean, we pretty much ride with the same guys. Right. I know where they are, so I know how far can I go, so then I can monitor myself. Because at the beginning you get too excited, Cross, you get dropped in 3 miles, and then you were riding alone.
So let's go back, because outside of all of this, okay, so we understand your learning curve was really short, but you also deal with a medical issue too. Let's talk about that. You have a condition with your blood. Explain that to me.
So back in 2000, when in Brazil, it was the first time I was required to do a medical exam to get admitted to work. And my hemoglobin was very, very high. I mean, extremely high, to a point that they all freaked out. They said, you are in the edge of having a stroke at any time. I don't know how they measure, but I remember the number. It was like 24.7. Maybe a normal person today, they have a hemoglobin level under 17. Okay. And they sent me to the hospital to do a blood draw, like a blood donation. So half liter went out there, and I was on that for every week, drawing half liter until it goes under 18. Then I did all the studies under the sun to find out what it was. Everything in my blood, hormones, bone marrow, everything was fine. They couldn't find anything. So my doctor was with me until I moved to Mexico. I got transferred to Mexico in 2008 to work. I lived there 2 years, and then I found the best hospital over there. They did the whole exams again. Nothing. They couldn't find anything.
Wow.
And my life was like, you have to draw blood. I have to keep monitoring, and I have like a buzz in my ear. When it's too high, I can hear a little buzz.
Right.
And so then I know it's time to go to a blood draw. So that weekly became monthly, became every other month. But I start realizing every time I do a high intense exercise, which to be honest, I never liked, my hemoglobin goes too high very fast.
Okay.
So then I was that, okay, if I don't work out, I have to suffer on the needle to take my blood out. When I moved to the U.S. back in 2010, I used to work for SAP, so I got transferred here. My doctor at our hospital sent me to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. So I spent a week over there. We did, again, they are known as the best clinic in the world, and I got the best a blood doctor over there, and he said, "Son, I'll be honest with you, there is a disease, but thank God you don't have this disease, because everything on you is fine, perfect. People with this disease, they call polycythemia vera. Normally they have a short lifetime, normally 8 years after they find out. It's not your case. So here's the thing for you. I can give you a really strong drug that will keep your hemoglobin down, but that's going to damage everything else. Or you monitor your iron levels, like monitor how much meat you are going to eat, and monitor don't get obese. That was clear for him. And he said, if you ate a steak, know that you're going to have to draw blood, or my suggestion to you is try to do some high intensity exercise, running or cycling. And then I said, okay, that was back in 2012. And I never did anything. So then I was debating, okay, I did, after that, I did P90X, that 90-day program. I did that thing 3 times. It helped, but I couldn't watch TV anymore to do that exercise over and over again. And then you go back, you get all your weight back, and you do, you not do anything. So good news, and you don't know this, normally every time I draw blood, my hemoglobin levels drop 2 points. So last time I measured was in November. And then I remember I did nothing on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I was not cycling at all. I got tired with Zwift, and I said, forget this. When spring comes, I'm going to go back. My blood was 22 point something. In April, and so then I draw blood. So that means it goes back to 21. In April, I did it again. It went up again to 23 because I did nothing. So then I draw blood again. So then I said, Fabio, either you got to do it, my friend, or, you can't keep doing this. This is a stupidity. So then this year, I've been cycling heavily. I'm doing 2 very intense exercises during the week. And on Saturdays, normally we do I call the zone 2 exercise. So just like long rides and not too crazy. I went back to the hospital last week, and it was high. It was not 23. Statistically speaking, it should be on 23, but it was only 19.7.
Okay.
So that means it not only came down, it went down more, but it didn't go up. So I'm going to do it again, but I saw now I'm monitoring another thing, like the VO2 max, the amount of oxygen you can intake, and it's going higher and higher. My VO2 max right now went from 34 last year to 50 now.
Wow. That's your VO2 max is the amount of oxygen your body can use efficiently. And a 50 is good. This year I just hit 50. It went up to 51 earlier this year, and then it went back down to 50. I seem to be hovering around that 50. That means you got the fitness of a 20-year-old. So with you having this, it's not a disease, but it has all the effects of a particular type of disease that you have to have blood drawn if you're not doing high intensity cardio work to manage your hemoglobin levels. That's what you're saying, right? It doesn't have an effect on you, like energy wise. It doesn't pull like you're able to sustain the way you are very efficient, and just riding with you, you definitely higher energy. And it's amazing to me that you would have most people that would have a blood condition of some sort. It draws on them energy wise, whether they're anemic or anything like that. And for you, it seemed like that's not the case. You're still able to function at a very high level.
Yeah, the good thing for this is my doctor actually told me last time I saw him that normally it's the first time we were talking about cycling, and he said, Fabio, some people, they take heavily drugs. Sometimes when they were doping for some events, they said they take heavily drugs. They dope to have more hemoglobin, because the more hemoglobin you have, more oxygen you carry. You just have that naturally on you. So what I'm doing now is just using it. So I already have this problem that I have to take care of it. if I don't exercise, I am at risk of a stroke, and I can die at any moment.
Wow.
And it's just like you do. It's literally do or die. If I don't do it, I will die. And the problem with stroke, you don't know when. You can have thrombosis, you can have a stroke, you can have a heart failure, you can have so many things. Because the more hemoglobin you have, more thick is your blood.
Okay.
And that it's bad for everything. So if you have a very thick blood, you have clogs, you have all those things. So what I do is, normally my machine that God gave to me, I can use more oxygen than anybody else, so I just use it on my favorite pretty much.
Well, there you go. That explains why I get dropped. I found the magic answer. Now I know why I get dropped, where my body is starving to use oxygen to get my muscles to respond. On the last ride we did, and I was arguing with myself on why I was doing this. My body was saying one thing, my mind was saying something different. But you have an excess of oxygen that you're able to use, and it helps you perform at a high level. That's amazing. So
pretty much learning now is the more oxygen you put in your body, less lactose your muscle will have, because the moment you don't have oxygen in your muscle, you start having lactose levels up, so then you start having muscle failure. So you get tired pretty much.
Right.
In my case, what I do when I am second wheel, I know my turn is coming. I start breathing faster. So then I already did this exercise once. So the faster I do the breathing, the lower my heart rate goes.
Right.
So when everybody's like, my maximum heart rate now, it's 179.
Okay.
Some younger people, they have 200, some 190, but mine is 179. That pretty much is when you are about to die, of tired. So what I do is I get my heart rate down to 139 on the second wheel, just breathing. So then because the brain understands, okay, we have enough fuel now, oxygen is all over the place, heart rate goes down, and then it's my turn to pull. And then I just maintain. Normally I pull at 152. It's a zone, I think zone 3, zone 4. It's on the tempo zone, as you know.
Oh, wow. It's funny that you say that. We're going to get into this video. Our ride, the dash, since we had to close. I told you that time was going to go fast. It went really fast. So we did a ride, and this was probably one of the better dash rides. I love all our rides, but the reason I say this was one of the better dash rides for me, simply because you guys kind of kept this double pace line going for an extended period of time, and it gave me good video footage, and you'll get to see the video because I'm going to post it within the next couple days. But it shows how when you have a double pace line versus a single pace line, the vacuum that it creates and the amount of wattage. We were doing 22 miles an hour, and I was at 100 watts. I mean, I can ride like I can ride like that all day.
You can talk, right?
I mean, everyone was talking and joking and having a good time, and we doing like 21, 22 miles an hour. And I was explaining in the video that's why, like, if you have a big training, sometimes Strava is a little deceiving, because if you're following some guys and you're looking, go, man, that guy averaged 22 miles an hour. You have to look and see, like, okay, how many was it? How big was the train? Were they running a double train? Because the miles per hour the averages don't necessarily tell the whole story. If you looked at the beginning of that ride versus the end of that ride, it told two different stories. At the very beginning, we were running really good. 20, 22. I had tons of energy. Wasn't using anything. I mean, my watch was low. My heart rate was low. And then we got into a single pace line, and you can see my watch go up. You can see my heart rate go up. And then, and I'm not going to show it in this one, the notorious look back. I call it the notorious look back. It's when you look back, you realize that we had a train that was too long. Then Forrest pops out. He looks back, and then you say something to Forrest. Forrest puts his head down and goes crazy. And I go from 170 to 320 in watts. And right then and there, the pack, that's when we had an A group and a B group. And it was really funny. But so we run really hard for a period of time. And this is, we get to this stoplight. And off the stoplight, because I am thanking God. I'm thanking God for this stoplight turning red, because it gives me an opportunity to breathe. And so I'm gonna play this video, and I roll up and I'm kind of talking to you, and then when we come off the stoplight, right? There's a lot of things that can happen, but you chose to just you have to explain to me why you chose to just go crazy right here. So let me roll this. Wait, can you hear it? No. Where's the sound? Oh, excuse, right? They call it the cross excuses of why I get dropped, or why I didn't make it, or why I didn't. It's always a why I didn't something. So here, light go, and they're about to take off, right? So this is, it's a good thing to have that light, but at the same time, when your legs are kind of like, could be possibly on the verge of being popped, it ain't necessarily a good thing, because we out of formation, but Fabio is gonna put down a monster effort. I'm already at 200 watts, just trying to get back on, because it was a fast run. You look at the position that Forrest is in. Elbows bent. He's down in that race position. He's locked out. He's sitting up now. 297. We're at 27 miles an hour. I just need to get close to him so I can get in this draft, because Fabio is leading it again. You can see he's low. Now you see people repositioning, because we trying to close this train up, and that takes a big effort, man. We're at 32 miles an hour. I'm at 300 watts, trying to keep this train close, because again, if you let gaps form, it doesn't take long to get dropped. I'm at 110 RPMs. Now, here's Andrea. He's basically checking me to say, hey, I'm going to get in. I'm going to let him in right here, because these two, they ride together. They race together. So, you know how you have that wheel that you're just comfortable on? So, it's no problem. I let him have the wheel. And he's probably thinking, like, I don't want to get stuck behind you. He's probably thinking, I don't want to get stuck behind you, because I really don't know that you're going to be able to hold this wheel at this pace. And I don't want to be behind you trying to have to work around you. So I'd rather get behind. Okay. So
that was awesome.
That's a preview of my release that'll come out this week. So now tell me, we come off this light and we go from 0 and you jump the pace up to 32 miles an hour. What was your thought behind that? What made you, was it just the nature of the ride, or you was just like trying to get the group back up to speed? I mean, what was you thinking at that moment?
So I did, one thing was to mess up with Caio, because he went way ahead.
Okay. And
he was waiting for us. The other thing is I didn't want to be back there, because when the train is long, it's hard normally accidents can happen. Okay. And I think one guy was his first time on the group, and he was braking a couple times. I said, man, if I keep riding behind him, I'm going to fall. So I said, I'm going to hit the hammer here, and I'm going to see who's going to come. But then I passed right by Caio, so he chases anything that moves. So if he see a flies going by, he's going to chase it. So he was kind of going slow, and I passed by. I mean, it was impossible for him. You can see the effort he made. And but I think I was doing like 500, 600 watts on that.
Oh my god!
It was almost like a sprint.
It was. Jumping off of a light, like when your legs, I was already gasping for air. So to come off that light like that, I mean, it was like, it's one of those moments you have to really ask yourself, do you really want to be in this group? I was able to hang on a little while longer, and you'll see with the video, but I thought that was fun. You're an incredible rider, man. We out of time, and I just want to say that I enjoy riding with you, and the rest of your brothers. You guys are phenomenal. Great spirit, a lover of Christ, and how can you go wrong with that, right? But
yeah, amen to that.
Importantly, you have an incredible story of never late, never too late. You know, rather late. What was it? Rather late than sorry. I think that's what we titled. Rather late than sorry. And it's a true to you because you started cycling at this level really late, and it did not take you long. I mean, just sheer desire and effort, not just desire, right? Faith without works is dead. So you did believe in yourself, and you do have faith, but you put in the work, and you're putting in the work. And I think that's the message. The message is faith without works is dead. We can believe to want something all we want. We can have a passion within us to want something all we want, but there is a work that has to follow that. And I think that's your testimony, right? Is that you didn't let your blood condition stop you. You didn't let inexperience stop you. You recognize that you made, early on you was like, hey, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And you recognize that about yourself. You recognize a change needed to happen, and you made the change happen. You took the authority that God has given you, and you decided to use that authority to make change happen in your life. And that's what's incredible. That's incredible because many people talk about the things they want to do. Many people even desire what they see others do, but never do they ever will themselves to get in position to do it. And so I would encourage you, man, to keep you're 42, you're still young by all standards. So you got a lot of time in front of you to do some great things. I believe you'll be a phenomenal criterium racer. We got a ride coming up. This will be your crit ride practice Saturday, because we got some guys coming out that's going to be head hunting.
Oh yeah, I'm already thinking about it. But the going on your line, I met a guy from Plus from our group. He's our racing director over there. And he said, well, I told you this already. I'm still a little overweight for a cyclist, but I'm so glad to ride with you because you're the only one that encourages me to feed me more, so then I don't have to lose weight. And that's amazing. So I said, no, don't lose more weight. We're going to feed you more, so then you can be on the front helping us. But he said, your BMI needs to be down to, my BMI now is 29. I need to be down to 25. So it's the body mass index.
Yeah. Yes.
And we are in a flat, so 25 for you is fine. And he said, you still have 5 years to be in a category 3. I said, man, I don't have, life is short, man. We got to make those 5 years be 2.5. And I got to work harder to be on that 2.5. But I love this. The community of cyclists is awesome.
Yes.
One thing that you don't even notice is first time I was cycling, people were waving for you. I'd say, "Oh, so we wave? I'm gonna wave." So we wave. We cross people on the road. We wave. I said, when we're driving, we don't wave to anybody, but when we're cycling, we wave.
That's right.
Normally, we look scary with our helmets and glasses and equipment and those bikes making those noises that are scary. I try to be nice with kids because. Basically, when we come, everybody open, right? So we pass. No, normally I try to be nice with them. And we never know who is the next
That's right.
World champion in cycling. We just have to encourage them.
That's right. Well, Fabio, thank you, brother. Thank you for being on All Things Fitness. I appreciate you spending the time with us this evening. And I'm sure, I am positive that someone is going to be blessed by just what they heard today. Someone is going to be encouraged by it. So thank you again, my friend, as I get ready to close out. Man, I wish you all the best, and I pray that you achieve every single goal that you set for yourself. And
Thank you so much. And I promise you, I won't do those shotguns lights anymore. We'll be on an easy pace.
Right. Yeah. You probably after this Saturday, we'll be on an easy pace. All right. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Listen, I pray that you receive something. I pray that this message has blessed you. Like always, I always try to bring on guests that can inspire you, encourage you, help you just move a little bit further in whatever your goals are for yourself. I know that at times things happen in life. We get bad reports. You know, we have situations come upon us that's unavoidable. In some cases, you know, it's out of our control. But the one thing we can control is our will. We can control our will. We can control whether we choose to fight for or not fight for. We can choose to do or not do. We can choose to move forward or not move forward. That is the thing that we can control. It doesn't matter whether or not we reach the end. What does matter is that we keep trying, that we keep moving forward. That is the only thing that we have power over. God does the rest, you know, and whatever that goal is, I believe with the right heart that it is God's desire that we reach those goals. I believe that if we're lined up with his will, he'll help us and he'll make a pathway for us to reach those goals. I love cycling. And through cycling, I've met phenomenal people like Fabio and others. And God has allowed me not only to cycle, but also to make cycling ministry. And I didn't have to abandon my passion to do ministry. I can do ministry and still do the thing I love to do. That's the beauty of God. That's the beauty of being a cyclist. So again, this is Cross, aka, well, this is Cross the Christian Cyclist, aka Cross All Things Fitness. Thank you. Hey, I love you. And as I always say, we can do all things in Christ who strengthens us. Until next time.